All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another one of my interviews here on Drip Talk with Blake Disnake Roberts. Today, I have a special guest with me on my show. He is a former pro wrestler. He has wrestled for the company's FCW, which was a brand before NXT. He also wrestled for VCW, NWA, ACW, and much, much more. He is no other than Marcus Owens, also known as Vic Adams, also known as Jay Nobles. So we're going to get him on in here, and then we will start.
Blake the Snake, what's up, baby?
Hey, what's up?
I'm good, man. What's going on with you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good, man. Everything's gravy, baby.
Yeah, well, thank you for taking your time out and doing this interview with me. It's a pleasure to have you on here.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you very much.
So I'll start off by asking my first question. When did you start doing wrestling and what made you want to do it?
What made me want to become a wrestler? I'd probably say just like every other wrestler that we watch on TV right now. We watched it as kids. You know what I'm saying? And back then, those were our superheroes on television. So you wanted to be like your superheroes. So, I wanted to be like Hulk Hogan. I wanted to be like the Ultimate Warrior. And then, of course, as more African-American wrestlers came into the play, like Booker T, even Zeus, even though Zeus wasn't, he didn't win any titles, but seeing Zeus and the way he was intimidating, the way that he would beat down Hulk Hogan, you're like, man, I don't kind of want to be like that guy. Okay, cool. So especially Ron Simmons, who paved the way for a lot of African-American wrestlers too. And that happened once I got out of the military. I was in the military for 5 years. And after I got out, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but wrestling was always something that I was, kind of in my back pocket. I said, you know what? I'm really not doing too much else right now, but working at IHOP and flipping pancakes. Let's go to wrestling school. So I ended up, I met a guy at Gold's Gym over off Volvo Parkway in Chesapeake, Virginia. His name is Scott Irwin. Peace with Scott. He introduced me to a guy named Shane Acomb. And me and Shane got to chopping it up about, how I can get into the business. He said, listen, I'm going to take you down to VCW school. I'm going to introduce you to some guys. And he goes, I can't promise you anything. He goes, but, if you're as passionate as you say you are, then maybe you get a shot. So I went in and I had a tryout and they said, hey, listen, this is what we're going to do. It costs you X amount of dollars to come here per month to train. We can't trust, we can't promise that you'll get into the WWE, but you will gain some wrestling experience. And then everything was, pretty much history from there.
Yeah. So you started out with VCW.
VCW
training.
Yeah. Yep. Training. Travis Bradshaw, Damian Wayne Costal, Jason Register, also on his crotch. You got Phil Brown, Dirty Money. I mean, you got a lot of really, a lot of really great talent that comes out of Virginia area, and it's a shame they really don't get the look that they deserve. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, what age were you when you officially knew that you wanted to become a wrestler and actually went into it?
I was probably 25. Yeah, I got out of the military at 24. 25 when I got back into the States from Germany. That's when I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And I went after it and, I got it.
Yeah. So if you watch the business now, who do you like to watch and who's your favorite?
Oh man, it's crazy. It's funny because my son now he's 12 now. And he and we watch Monday Night Raw, we watch SmackDown, we watch WrestleMania, like we watch all the premium live events now. So he, him being a fan has kind of made me a fan over again,
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Gunther. I love Big Bronson Reed. Cody Rhodes, of course. That's just based off the relationship that I had with Dusty when I was out at FCW. So him finishing that story was really cool. It actually brought tears to my eyes when I watched WrestleMania. And then, also I have a little bit of personal history of Roman too. You know what I mean? We're actually still Xbox buddies. We haven't played in a while because he's been busy wrestling on TV, but It is what it is. But Big Bronson Reed, Gunther, Cody Rhodes is awesome. AJ Styles, I think AJ Styles is probably the best he's ever looked, and I've been watching him since the mid '90s when he first stepped into TNA. I think the talent right now, man, is really just top to bottom, just spectacular.
Yeah. So your son got you back into wrestling, and what is his thoughts of you that you were in wrestling yourself?
It's funny, like it. I don't think it has really hit home for him because he's never seen me wrestle before. You're right. All he knows is, oh yeah, your dad used to wrestle. And he can find some stuff on YouTube of me wrestling, and it's really none of my. I wouldn't say the stuff that he finds on YouTube has been any of my best stuff. But he's always asked me, he goes, would you ever go back and wrestle again? And I would absolutely love to. I would love to. But it's one of those things where I would only do it if I wrestled for WWE. I would only do it if it was in the ring with somebody that I trusted. And then, I don't know if anybody knows this, but in 2019, I was diagnosed with idiopathic epilepsy. So I began having seizures in 2019. Nobody knows why, and I'm okay. I'm taking medication for it. But unless I had a test that would guarantee that I would have no more episodes, I couldn't do it again, which sucks because I would love to get in there and take some bumps right now. I would love to. Probably more now than ever.
Yeah. But I mean, health comes first, and I mean, you never want to have a seizure in the ring. So
absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah.
Was there anybody who inspired you, family, and also wrestling wise, to get into the business?
In my family. I don't. No, not really. My dad wasn't really a wrestler, a wrestling fan. My grandmother, she did love Jake the Snake. My grandma loved Jake the Snake. Yeah, she was from Houston, Texas, and when NWA would come out there and Jake the Snake would come out there, she would always go see Jake the Snake, and she would always talk to him about Jake the Snake and the DDT, and she would love when he pulled Damien out of that bag, boy. She would, oh my God, there's Damien. I want to pet Damien. Who would think a little old woman like snakes? Crazy, man. But she loves her some Jake the Snake, man. So yeah, I never got to meet him in person to be able to tell him that. So, Jake, if you're watching this interview, my grandma loved you, man.
I mean, I know he's coming down here to Wisconsin in 3 weeks.
Right.
Yeah, I was thinking about going to see him. So
I'll tell you what. Show him the clip of this interview, and then tell him I said what's up. All right.
All right. Yeah. Who has been the stiffest wrestler you have gotten in the ring with?
The stiffest wrestler I've ever gotten in the ring with. I don't know how to ask that question because the style that I like to work is more of a stiffer style. You know what I mean? I like the way that I worked. I like to work where my matches look like real fights. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I was a real big fan of Japanese wrestling. So yeah, a lot of the strong style stuff. I used to love to work with Michael Tarver. Michael Tarver and I, when we got in the ring, we would literally throw haymakers at each other, and he was one of the best. Also, Sheamus. I used to love to get in the ring and work with Sheamus. Sheamus really throws some blows, boy.
Yeah, he still does those uppercuts, and when you watch him now, he's just insane.
He is. He's a monster, dude. Steve, what's up, dude?
Were you ever in any school or amateur wrestling as a kid?
I did, actually. I used to get in trouble in middle school. And so instead of suspending me from school, the assistant principal thought I should join the wrestling team. And I didn't really care too much for it, but once I began wrestling for WWE, and once we started more like the chain wrestling and more the combination moves, I began to have a better appreciation for the amateur wrestling that I did in middle school. So it's kind of like that retrospect, you know what I mean? The introspective retrospect that you have. You don't appreciate something once you've gone through it, and later you can reflect on it, and say, okay, this is why this was the way that it was. You know what I mean?
So yeah, it helped you out later in for the
Absolutely,
wrestling.
absolutely. And who would have in middle school, who thinks that 15 years down the line you're going to be doing something where that skill is going to come into play to help you out? You know what I mean?
Yeah. What about, were you ever in like any type of drama class or types of those classes as a kid?
No, never really did any drama classes as a kid. Now, if you ask my mom this question, she'd probably be able to pull out a lot of VHS tapes and stuff with me and my sister and my little brother, like acting out little scenes or whatever, coming down the stairs and having on capes and masks and sword fighting and whatever have you. But yeah, no official training, no official acting classes, nothing like that. No.
Yep. What do you consider to be your weakness and then a strength in wrestling of yours personally in the ring?
Me personally in the ring. Ooh, that's a good question. Oh wow, I don't know how to answer that one. Something that I think I could have worked better on, or are you talking about in the ring specifically?
Probably for a weakness, something, yeah, you could have worked better on.
I don't know. You'd have to ask one of my coaches that. Norman Smiley, Dr. Tom Pritchard, Steve Kern. Yeah, those guys could probably tell you what I need to work on. I don't really know. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. I know I enjoyed being in the ring. I know that.
All right, yeah, that's a strength.
Yeah. I mean, you got to love what you do to be successful at it, right?
True. Yep.
And who wants? I mean, and to be honest, I mean, is this a PG show or is this a NC-17 show? Trying to keep it clean, but who wants to work a crappy job? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
get, I'd rather do things the way that I want to do them and have fun. You know what I mean? So yeah. I had fun in the ring. Let's just say that.
Yep. Is it hard traveling from show to show, and what was the worst or best thing about traveling for you?
It wasn't hard to travel, man. Like you get a good group of guys and you're in the car, you guys are telling jokes and just talking smack and you're listening to good music, you know what I mean? And it doesn't really feel like you're in the car that long, to be honest with you. Yeah, that was never a problem. I love the travel. Now sometimes sometimes you go to some towns, you're like, okay, I wouldn't want to break down the side of the road here. But other than that, the travel was never really an issue.
Yeah. And I mean, if you did get annoyed, you probably had headphones. You could
Yeah.
listen.
You in the back and call it a day. You wait till your matches up and you're watching the other matches to see, okay, what are they doing? What should I not do? And you go on about your business.
Yep. Who did you travel with usually for FCW?
Oh, man. Tarver. When Jimmy Uso came down, we rode with him. There was another referee named Bones. You're familiar with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, right?
Yep.
Of course you are. You better. All right. His son, Richie Steamboat, was a road traveling buddy of mine too. So us four would often ride in the car together. Yeah.
Nice. Who was your first opponent in front of a televised crowd, and how did you feel going into that first match?
My first opponent on TV. Oh, wow. So check this out. So this is all right. So let me know if you get goosebumps here. So my very first televised match was a tag team match. It was myself and God rest his soul. At the time, he was Wyndham Rotunda. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was your first match.
That was my first match. We were in a tag team. It was Vic and Duke Rotundo against John Cutler and Vance Archer, who is now known as Lance Archer in AEW. Yes, that was my first televised match. I had just come back from I want to say I was on the shelf for about 8 to 9 months with a shoulder injury. It happened, I want to say like the first 3 or 4 months when I had first gotten there. But that was my first televised match. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, because just before this, I actually seen some matches that you did, and one of them was Bray Wyatt, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And wow, yeah.
It's funny because when I watch the interviews that people when they talk about him, and everything they're saying is 100% true. He was just the sweetest, the most just always a joy to be around. It was funny. I had a problem. We would have promo class on let's say it was Wednesday or Thursdays. I can't remember. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. And you're sitting there and you're listening to 60 or 70 promos, and you're just kind of sitting there and you're not really able to talk, and you're kind of falling asleep, but you don't want to doze off. I said, dude, I'm falling asleep in here. He goes, hey, man. He goes, try some of this. It was dip. So he actually got me to try. He actually got me to try dip for the first time. And I started dipping because of Bray Wyatt. Yeah. Now, and I don't dip anymore, but it's just kind of funny that the first time I dipped was because of him. And I will always remember him for that. That will always be one of the funniest moments of my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Other from that, what was he like as a person backstage, and what was he like being around?
He was just always fun to be around. Like if he was upset, you wouldn't know. He was always just laughing and joking and playing around. Yeah, he was just a great overall human being. I don't have a bad thing to say about him. I don't have a bad thing to say about anybody.
Yep. And was it true that he was really creative at that time too?
I think when he had gotten there, they had put us in the tag team that they want us to do. It was something out of Dusty told us to watch Blazing Saddles. So they were trying to do something kind of like a Blazing Saddles-ish theme tag team. And we were still trying to grasp the concept, and we were still trying to figure things out. And I think before we really got a chance to sink our teeth into it and really grab a hold of it and see what we could do with it, it didn't really gain any traction. So they split us apart. And, of course, he went on to tag with his brother.
Wow. So you got to be like the first partner for him.
Yes. It was really, really cool, man. Yeah, it was dope.
Yeah. Wow. How did the crowd react when they seen you for the first time in the ring?
When they saw me for the first time in the ring? Oh, yeah. I could remember. Oh, so the first time in the ring when they saw me, I was tagging with Charles Evans. Charles Evans was a babyface because he was in the military. So I guess they cheered for me because I got the rub from him.
Yeah.
6 and 1 hand, half dozen in the other, whatever. Take it or leave it. I was happy. It wasn't booze. I know that.
Yeah, I mean, at least if you got cheers, that's all
cheers
that matters,
or booze. You get crickets. We're in trouble.
Yeah. And at that time, you probably didn't know who they were cheering for, so.
Well, I knew he was a babyface, so I knew that we were the ones who were meant to be cheered. So we did get our cheers. We did get that. Yeah.
Yeah. If you could go back in time and wrestle anyone that's passed away, who would that be?
Wow. Anyone? Yep. Dude, that's wow. I get to choose just one?
You know what? I'll do two. You can
all right,
do
two. All right. Let's see. Who would I choose? Ooh, Mr. Perfect. And probably the Ultimate Warrior. Yeah.
Yeah, those are great.
Yeah, I don't know. So I probably say I chose the Ultimate Warrior because I just watched a commercial, not a commercial, but it was a video meme on Instagram today, and they had his music playing. And it was somebody in the gym, and I was like, oh yeah, Ultimate Warrior, cool. And I watched another video today with Mr. Perfect. Remember this? I don't know if you remember this. They made a promo video of him, and he was in a football camp, and he threw the football. He goes, watch this. He threw the football at the end zone, and he ran all the way down to the other end zone and caught his own pass. And the guy goes, man, that was incredible. That was unbelievable. And he walks and goes, no, it was perfect. Classic
That's great.
stuff, man. Classic stuff.
That's great. So, who is or was your top dream opponent?
Who was my top dream opponent?
Yep.
Probably say The Rock. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you wrestled Roman.
I did wrestle Roman. I wish anybody could find footage of that match when I wrestled Roman. I wrestled
really?
Roman.
There's no
I wrestled
footage out
Roman.
there?
What's that?
There's no footage out there?
I don't know where there's a picture out there, and it's a picture of, I think it's him giving me an arm drag. And you can tell it's him by his tattoo, but the picture is very fuzzy. You can see the VA for the Vic Adams on the back of my tights, but that's about it. But the match was really, I think it was Haines City or Plant City. And it was cool because he was the babyface. His name was Leaki at the time. And he was still wearing trunks. I don't know why they didn't put him in trunks, because he has an incredible physique. He has great legs. I don't know why they won't put him in trunks. But he was wearing trunks at the time. And I had just bought this pinky ring at the mall. So I wore this pinky ring out to the ring, and it was kind of like the gimmick of the match. So the match, he was actually working my pinky, and he won the match, and I couldn't put my ring back on my finger. So everybody was booing me, and they were laughing at me. I was walking back to the back. That was really, really funny.
Who is someone you would like to wrestle that you have wrestled before, like for a rematch or something?
I'd probably say Cesaro.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
And why would you pick him?
Well, because at that point in time in my career, I was going through a lot of stuff mentally. And when he and I had our match, I wasn't, if you go back and watch that match, you can see I wasn't really I wasn't there. So I'd like to go back, and I would love to be able to run that back again and give him a run for his money. Because he is one hell of a talent. Good God. And I wish I had been able to showcase that I could hang with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
He definitely puts on some bangers. And I would have loved to be a part of his catalog, saying, you know what? That was one of the greatest matches I'd ever had.
Well, let's have AEW book it.
Put on the wish list, baby, on the wish list.
Yep. Do you usually get along / become friends with most of your opponents?
Do I get along or become friends with a lot of them? I mean, I mean, remember, it's still business. You know what I mean? And yeah, I would say yeah. I didn't have any bad blood with anybody. I mean, if anybody had any bad blood with me, I certainly didn't know about it.
Yeah. If you could make a Survivor Series match, including you with 4 wrestlers from any era that are still alive to this day, who would you choose as partners?
Myself, Michael Tarver, AJ Styles, Cody Rhodes, and Gunther.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Pretty solid squad, right?
Yeah, I feel like they would get the job done.
Now who would we be facing?
You can choose them too, your opponents.
Okay. Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio, Big Bronson Reed. And you know who I'm really starting to come around and like right now? Ivar from the Viking Raiders. That guy moves like he's a freaking cruiserweight. He does. Like I love watching him and Bronson Reed go back and forth, man. It's incredible. Yeah, those guys are awesome.
Yeah, definitely to see the physique and how big Ivar is, to see what he does in the ring, like the
Right,
flip
right.
off top rope. It's just awesome to see what he does.
He kind of reminds me of a version of a Bam Bam Bigelow. Like him and Bronson Reed remind me. Remember how Bam Bam Bigelow used to do the cartwheel kick?
Yep.
Yeah, old school baby.
Now, if we were talking about FCW, I would have, for like a Survivor Series match,
Right.
a faction I would have loved to see made with you was probably with Michael Tarver,
Mm-hmm.
Brian Saxton,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Rick Lawn or Zeke?
Percy Jackson.
Perks. Okay.
Yeah, I would have loved to see that as a faction.
Oh, you know what? That actually would have been really, really good. Yeah. Yeah. So what would our motivation be? Would we just be a group of angry black men like the Nation of Domination, or what is going to be our goal? What's our purpose? Now I'm interviewing you now.
To, I mean, probably be. I don't think there was any factions in FCW, if I'm sure about that.
Well, they did have the um oh Andrade's ring, Ricardo Rodriguez. He
Oh
was
yeah,
in faction with what was his name? I can't remember the name of the tag team.
Eric Perez and
No, the was it the Lords? Not was it Lords of Pain? No, not Lords of Pain. Not Authors of Pain. I can't remember the name. Doggone it. But they had them looking.
Epico.
They had them looking like the Legion of Doom.
Hmm.
Do you not know what I'm talking about? It was Victor and
Oh, the Ascension, Victor and
the
Connor.
Ascension. Yes, the Ascension. So in FCW, they had the Ascension. It was him. It was Tom Latimer. It was Victor, and it was I keep forgetting this. I keep forgetting his name. But yeah, they were the Ascension, and they were supposed to be almost like this cult-like group, sort of what's his face is doing now with the Final Testament,
Cross.
carrying cross. So it was supposed to be something similar to what they're doing right now. Yeah, it was really, really neat though. It was really, really cool what they were shooting backstage, those vignettes. But it never did
Yeah.
come to fruition. Yeah, I saw a lot of really cool stuff that never came to fruition. But I can't let out the bag because it seems like they put that stuff in the back pocket and they release it years later. So, shh.
Would you rather be in a street fight or a death match?
Street fight. I'm not doing deathmatch. I can't listen. You see how pretty this face is, man? I can't mess this up, man. No scars, no nothing. No, well, I do have one scar right here. One scar right there. That's it.
Yeah, definitely just you don't want to get any scars on your face or
No,
body
no,
because
no.
that's what happens when you're in death matches.
It is. It is. I didn't join. I didn't get into the business to do all of that stuff. You know what I mean? I didn't want to do,
Mhm.
tables, ladders, and chairs. I didn't want to do the thumbtacks and all of that stuff. No, no way.
Yep. Would you rather be in a blindfolded match, handcuffed to your opponent, or a dog collar?
Dog collar, junkyard dog, baby. JYD.
Yep. That's what a lot of people that I interview say. So yeah, that's a popular one.
Very cool. All right.
Is there any piece of merch that you have or had that is sold out pretty quickly?
No, you know what? I wasn't a merch guy, man. No, I didn't create any merch. They didn't create any merch for me. No, no. I wasn't one of those guys, man. I wasn't one of the cool guys up top. I didn't get that stuff yet. I think, and at FCW, they weren't really selling any shirts for us anyway, so none of us did.
Yeah. Is there any time a fan has seen you in public and got like super surprised and or excited?
Yes. Yes. I was actually in Walmart. And this was maybe about 10, 15 years ago. Yeah. About 10, 15 years. Just in Walmart, grocery shopping, and somebody called out my name and I turned around, oh my God, let me get your autograph. And no problem, no big deal. Let me get a selfie.
If you are a fan of horror, who is your favorite horror character and favorite horror movie?
Ooh, I like horror movies. I like Michael Myers. I like Halloween. Yeah, I like Halloween. I like the slashers. Yeah. I like Michael Myers because he doesn't say a word. And he walks.
Yep.
He's very methodical. You never know who he's going to turn up. There's no magic. There's nothing behind it. It's just pure evil. And you don't know where it comes from until later on in the series. You feel what I'm saying? I think,
yeah.
and that's what makes him so scary. It's just one day this kid just snapped and stabbed his parents for no reason. and then you try to figure out the rest of the reason why. And you don't find out why until I think it's movie number 5 or 6. Yeah.
Yeah,
What's yours? What's your favorite?
Chucky. Yeah.
It's funny. My son said so. I guess they got the new series out right now talking about Chucky. I guess Chucky's like 60 years old, right? And my son, remember, he's 12. He goes, "How can you be afraid of a 60-year-old doll?" He goes, "Can you just kick it over or put a trash can on top of it and put some rocks and bricks on top of it? Then it'll stay there forever." I'm like, you know what? It's actually, I don't know. So I don't know what Chucky has going on as making him age as a doll. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Listen, I know Chucky has stood the test of time, right?
Yep.
Chucky, keep doing your thing, baby.
Maybe his age depends on the guy that plays him, Brad Dourif.
Maybe, or maybe they're just using some really old rubber for his for his skin and the rubber.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
What is generally your favorite music to listen to in your spare time?
Oh man, I'm a hip hop head to my heart, all day long. I think, and it's funny. I just I was reading something today, and it was talking about how you have to be very intelligent to listen and understand hip hop because the words are coming at you so fast. You have to be able to dissect the words, understand the metaphors, right? And be able to dissect them to where they make sense in your head while the music is still going along. I mean, you're talking about, and being able to paint pictures with words and make them rhyme at the same time over beats. You know what I mean? That's,
yep.
I love hip hop, man, and I don't mean the mumble rap stuff that's out right now. I'm not talking about the Drakes and all that nonsense. I'm talking about like the Nas's and the Rakims and there's a couple rappers I listen to right now. There's a guy I listen to named Sky Zoo, who's out of Brooklyn, New York, who's just incredible. Have you ever watched that show called Snowfall on Hulu?
No, haven't heard of it.
You don't know it? Well, anyway, it talks about the crack epidemic in the 1980s. Well, the main character of this show is named Franklin Saint. Well, Sky Zoo, what he does is he created an album based on the perspective of Franklin Saint. And he breaks down each episode. He breaks down all seasons 1 through 6, and it kind of just tells the story of how Franklin Saint has kind of destroyed his community, has destroyed the relationships with him and his mom. Going to jail. What crack has done to the community. It's an incredible show. But I think to be able to take that concept and turn that into a musical form, to where it completely makes sense after you've watched the show, you're talking about brilliance at its highest level, man. And it's crazy. I mean, they're even studying hip hop now in college. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, hip hop all day, man.
Yeah. And now Monster Tarver also does like rapping of his own. What do you think of him
So
now?
it's funny you asked that. So Monster Tarver and I are actually working on some stuff together. Um, we should be coming out with a mixtape either the end of this year or maybe the beginning of 2025. So he's actually producing some stuff for me right now. So not a lot of people know that I do music. It's not something that I let a lot of people know. But I guess the cat's out of the bag now. Yes, I do music on the side. It's something I've done since I was maybe 16, 17 years old. My mom and my sister have always felt that I've had a great way with words, and now I'm gonna display that to the rest of the world. So yeah.
Wow. I can't wait for that.
Very cool. I'll make sure I send you some.
Thank you. Yeah. If a movie was made about your career, who
Okay.
would you want to play you?
Ooh, who would play me in a movie? Had to be somebody tall, dark, and handsome. They got to be jacked. I don't know. I don't know. Give me a hand. Who do you think? I never thought about this before, so now you can help me think about who's going to help play me in this movie.
Um,
I don't know.
Bobby Lashley? I don't know. Even though
Nah.
he's not an actor.
Well, I'm going to yell real quick. Hold on. And I need to ask for some assistance. Yes. Hey, babe, if somebody was going to play me in the movie, who would it be?
Probably The Rock.
But The Rock's not dark enough. Well, we can get The Rock with a. Can't be that. Yeah, we can do The Rock with a spray tan.
He's not white.
Look, yeah. So my wife, my wife says The Rock with a spray tan.
I mean, yeah. So
I guess we have it, right?
yeah. Or I just looked up some, and I possibly Terry Crews or
Yeah, I didn't think about him. Yeah, Terry Crews.
Yeah, he would be really good.
Okay, that'd be a good one. Yeah. All right. Who's the dude that played Luke Cage?
I'm looking it up because I'm not sure.
Let me see who played Luke Cage. His name is Mike Coulter.
All right.
Yep. You see his face? You see him?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mike Coulter could probably play me also. Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
All right.
All right. So if you got to choose the stipulation for your match, what stipulation would you choose?
Who's my opponent?
Oh, geez.
Well, you know, it's different strokes for different folks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or as Jay Uso would say, there's different ways to catch this yeet now.
You know what? Let's say Jay Uso.
I make it a submission match.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say has been the funniest thing a fan has said to you before?
The funniest thing a fan has said to me before? Oh wow. I think somebody asked me to give them a ride home. Yeah, yeah. Can you give me a ride home after a show? Yeah. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I'm not on. This is a public transportation. My bad. Sorry.
Yeah, and you don't know what they could have done.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not putting myself in that position. No.
yeah. What has been a best fan compliment you've either like received either like a show or out somewhere?
Um. Actually, I had somebody tell me it was, and I thought it was, I didn't think it was anything big, but I don't know if you watched the match that I had with Duke. When I come out, I'm wearing like this chain with a cross on it, right? And there was a young lady who was sitting in the crowd that night, and I don't know what it was about me wearing my chain and that cross that night, but she came up to me and said, "You know what?" She goes, "I had planned on tonight being the last night I was going to live." She goes, "But I saw you come out there wearing that cross on your chain, and I decided that I have much more to live for. And because of you, I've decided to spare my life." And
Wow.
I didn't think anything of it. I didn't, I didn't think me wearing my chain to the ring was going to do anything. I just thought it was my chain. It was cool. I paid the money for it. I'm rock my cool ass chain, right? But to say that me rocking a piece of jewelry and the symbol on my piece of jewelry is what helped a young girl keep herself from taking her own life. I think it really shows that how impactful that we are as entertainers, and we do have a responsibility to have a certain image or portray a certain image to I guess to not have people do anything harmful to themselves, to help people see the true beauty that they have. You know what I mean? And yeah, I guess hearing that was probably one of the coolest things I'd ever heard or ever done for anybody.
Yeah. What about which wrestler has given you the best advice and or compliment?
Michael Tarver, man. He, like I said, he and I we're pretty much like brothers, man. When I met him in 2007 on Valentine's Day. It was in New York. We had both just gotten our deals, and we were going up to New York to get our WWE medical evaluations done. And I think I got in the limousine first, and then he got into the limousine. And this is right when YouTube was really, really hot, like just really started getting big. And I had seen some video footage of him being up in Cleveland, and he had seen some video footage of me from VCW being down in Virginia. So I'm in the limo. He gets in. I'm like, "Yo, ain't you homeboy from Cleveland?" He goes, "Yo, ain't you Janice from VA?" I was like, "Yeah." Ever since then we've been like brothers. So he comes over to the house. My son calls him Uncle Ty. Like, that's just what it is. So he's always said, "Listen, man," he goes, "I have always seen something very, very special with you when it comes to being in the ring. It's just a shame that we didn't get to see what you were truly capable of." Because he and I, we had a lot of matches that were not televised. And when the television camera's not on, we have a lot more freedom what we're able to do in the ring. We can call a lot more audibles, you know what I mean? But when you're on television, you're really, really pressed for time. There's not a whole lot of time to experiment. And you gotta kind of follow a certain mold, if you will. But he was always a big supporter of mine, and I will always love him for that.
Yeah. Do or did you prefer being a heel or babyface more in wrestling?
Heel, man. Heel. There's nothing like coming out to the crowd and be like, hold on. You should have paid for 2 seats. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing better than being able to, yeah. That's so much fun. That's so much fun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what kind of action movies do you like?
Wrestling.
But the heels are what makes it fun, right? If we had a wrestling show full of good guys, it'd be kind of boring, right? The bad guys are exciting. Yes, yes. The bad guys would turn up the temperature a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And why I said wrestling is because I don't really watch anything else really.
Okay, okay, all right. So you're deep. How old are you?
15.
Oh man, you're deep into it. Okay, all right. You got a girlfriend?
Yep. No, I
Okay.
haven't had
Oh
one
yeah,
for a
you're
while.
okay. Yeah, you're super deep in the rust. It consumes your life right now. I get it. I was there.
Yeah, this is like my main focus,
I got you. I
wrestling.
got you. I got you. I remember when the Monday Night Wars were going on, dude. I would sit in my living room and I would flip between WCW and Monday Night Raw. WCW, Monday Night Raw. And I'd be like, Mom, turn the ringer off on the phone. I'm busy. I don't want to answer.
Yeah. Was there ever a time in your career you ever got kicked out of a wrestling show you were wrestling at?
No, 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 no. I don't. I one thing I had always known, and one thing I had always learned was to always conduct yourself, in business fashion. Don't ever do anything that will have people talking bad about you years on down the line. I guess that comes from my mom and my dad. My dad's, retired naval commander. My mom is a retired high school teacher, so they were very, very big on etiquette. Always saying please, always saying thank you, always looking people in the eye. Don't ever do anything to disrespect our family name. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Yeah. What would you do if a crowd member came out of the crowd and attacked you? And have you personally witnessed that happening at a show before?
I haven't seen anybody personally attack anybody at a show. If somebody came and attacked me at a show, um, hope they have good health insurance. Because that guardrail is there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're hopping over that rail to try to hit me, that means there's obviously something that makes you want to hurt me. So if you're going to try to hurt me when the rail is telling you not to cross the line, you cross that line, I'm going to have to protect myself. And the chances are the guy I'm in the ring with is going to get some licks into.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't bode well.
Now, what if it was like a little kid and they were like your fan and trying to like give you a hug or something?
I body slam his ass too. I'm joking. I'd be, hey, get this kid out of here. Or I'll probably lay on the ground and let him pin me or something. I don't know.
If you could wrestle for any wrestling company right now, what company would that be?
It have to be WWE, man. There's nothing better. I think that's why I won't wrestle again, is because once you've been to WWE, there is no, for me, this is just my opinion, right? There is nowhere else to go. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is, everybody gets into the industry because they eventually want to go to WWE. I mean, WrestleMania is it's the Mr. Olympia. It is the Olympics. It is it's the Super Bowl. It is the NBA championship of professional wrestling. There's nothing higher than a WrestleMania. So that if it's not to try to go there, then
Yeah. What has been, out of all the companies you have wrestled for,
right.
which company would you say was your most favorite? And I'm guessing
Oh,
FCW.
probably ACW, and ACW. Really good friend of mine, like a brother to me, Howard Word was, and Ralph Mosca. They were the main promoters of that company. Fidel Sierra also was another promoter of that company, and they were running out of Florida. And when FCW first started running shows, we were running shows out of this bar called Bourbon Street up in Newport Richey. And man, it was, redneck bar, people in there drinking, they're drunk, but it was almost like, you ever see that movie No Holds Barred with Hulk Hogan and Zeus?
Yep.
Okay, all right. So it had the same feeling of that bar in No Holds Barred. Not quite as rough, right? Not quite as rowdy, but that's the feeling that the bar had. So when FCW had the arena built, ACW started running their shows inside of that same bar. So when I left WWE, I worked the Indies for a little bit, and that's when I was winning. That's when I was winning my my championships and stuff. We were running it out at Bourbon Street, and man, it was great. I didn't, I was able to do whatever I wanted. My matches went. If I wanted to have a 15-minute match instead of a 7-minute match, then I could have a 15-minute match, and it was cool. And when nobody came and chewed me out in the back, I could pretty much say or do whatever I wanted, and I was just having fun. It wasn't like under the pressure of, okay, if I don't do this the way that they want me to do it, then you could get a phone call, so you're going to be fired. It was just me having fun and being a wrestler like I wanted to be.
Yeah. I was definitely thinking you were going to say FCW.
FCW was fun, but FCW was fun for different reasons. It was fun because I had the opportunity to live my dream and to say, yes, I was signed to the WWE. Like I said, for me, it got a little overwhelming knowing that there was a lot of pressure there. Remember, so they were in the era where they were in the PG era, right? You remember the PG era?
Yep.
That was John Cena era. So we couldn't say damn, we couldn't say hell, we couldn't say bell. There's a lot of things we couldn't do, moves we couldn't do, words that we couldn't say. And we weren't really allowed to let anybody know that FCW was here. We couldn't post on social media. We were kind of like the bastards of WWE. So there were a lot of things that the reins, if you will, were kind of put on us. And there was a lot of things that we couldn't do. So yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. Would you rather join DX, NWO, APA, or BWO?
The APA, man. The APA. The APA, baby.
Yeah.
Now, when you ask that question, normally, what do people say?
Honestly, normally it's a scatter, but usually they say
NWO.
NWO.
I figured. Yeah.
Yeah. But when they don't say NWO, it's usually that they say there's too many that there was too many members part of NWO.
That's why I didn't want to
get. Yeah, because they didn't want to get scattered in that and get lost in that big roster of NWO members.
Yep.
What about, would you rather join the Four Horsemen or Evolution?
Four Horsemen. Four Horsemen.
Yeah.
The reason I say the Four Horsemen is because back then when the Four Horsemen went around, like I said, African Americans didn't really have a big impact on wrestling. So I think being thrust into the group with the Four Horsemen would have put African Americans definitely in the forefront of professional wrestling.
For sure. If you could have any band or singer perform your theme song, who would you want that to be?
Now, which theme? Well, what theme song are you talking about now?
Your FCW theme song.
Now, okay, so I only had one FCW theme song that had lyrics to it, and that was a song that I had custom made by a rapper named R. Swift. He was a Christian rapper that I was introduced to by Michael Tarver. Of course, we're at church one day. So I would have R. Swift perform my entrance music, absolutely. But with a live band, the live band would have to be the Roots.
Yeah, I also would have loved to see even you, R. Swift, and Michael Tarver, all three do your theme song. That would have been cool.
That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool.
What is a least favorite wrestling move of yours to receive?
I don't think I have any. Yeah, I don't have any. Yeah. I mean, if you know how to bump, then they're all pretty much the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know some people said that like the Tombstone pile driver was a possible injury taker. Um,
Yeah, if the person giving it does not know how to give it, then yes, absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. Do you still have your ring gear that you used to wear in FCW still?
I do. It's in storage. I do. I do. I do. You never know, man. You never know. I may decide to do one last match, with Tarver, and so my son can see and walk off into the sunset.
Yeah. So yeah, I usually do ask if you would have one last match, who would it be against? And so Monster Tarver,
That's it, my man.
that would be great. Yeah, because he doesn't wrestle anymore too, so it'd kind
He
of be
does
like
not.
his retirement match too.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
Now, what company would you want that to book that match?
If we could do it in WWE at WrestleMania, that would be the ideal situation. And I would have the build-up start where I would be the heel, though. I would do it while he's on stage performing at one of his concerts. I would interrupt his show. I'd hit him in the head with a microphone, and I'd pound him on the stage until the police took me off stage. And then he would interrupt my show and do the same thing to me, and we would keep doing this back and forth. And we wouldn't step foot into a WWE arena until it was time to sign the contract to have the match at WrestleMania. And then we would have the match.
Yeah, so you have the whole plan.
Yes.
Yeah. What has it been the hardest move you have tried to do to an opponent before?
I would probably say a Hurricane Rana coming off the ropes.
Yeah. Why? What happened once when you tried doing that?
I tried to get, was it, no, Xavier Woods was trying to give it to me. I'm sorry. And the way I caught him was wrong, and I flipped him the wrong way. It was ugly. It was ugly.
If you could take any signature move from any other wrestler, what signature move would that be?
Probably the F5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What got you hyped for a match that you were gonna be in?
What got me hyped for a match I was going to be in?
Yeah.
I think just knowing I was going to step out into the ring again.
Yeah. Because I mean, you do never know when it'll be your last time. So just getting to know that you'll be wrestling again is pretty cool.
That's it. That's it. Exactly. Exactly.
What was your favorite thing to do after all your wrestling matches?
Go home and go to sleep. I didn't drink, I didn't party. So, after we wrestled, it was like working out. I went home and I went to sleep. That was it. When I was at FCW, my life was wrestling. It was working out. That was it. That's all that I did. It was time for nothing else. I knew that I worked my butt off to get where I was, and I didn't want to, waste my opportunity and say, I wish I could have did this. I wish I could have did this better. I knew that I put everything I had into that, and it didn't work out the way that I wanted, but I don't regret a thing.
Yep. What has been your favorite venue you have wrestled at in your career?
The FCW, no, Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
I'm taking you with me.
All right. Has there been any time you have accidentally broken out of your wrestling persona?
No, I don't think so. No, not that I can remember.
Yeah. So, to finish off the interview, I'll ask you a couple more questions.
Sure.
All right. So, what is one thing you would tell your wrestling fans?
About what? Anything specific?
About supporting you through your career and just following you and watching you as.
Well, I would definitely say look out for the mixtape. You can check me out on j.nobles 757 on Instagram. You can also check me out at Noble Fit Fam on TikTok. And then look out for the mixtape. I'm getting ready to do my very first bodybuilding show coming up in June 29th. I'll be competing in Classic Physique. So that'll be pretty cool. Something I've been wanting to do for a long time. So this will be my very first one there. It's the St. Pete Pro. If anybody wants any information about that, I would say go look on my Instagram page. I will be periodically posting stuff about where the venue is, and I don't know if they're going to have any streaming information on there, but I would definitely say check it out. That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah. Now, for the final question, do you have any advice for me to become a wrestler?
I would definitely say work out. You definitely got to work out. Study wrestling psychology, how matches are put together. Listen to the crowd. Don't go into your match with some things that you want to do, but don't have them plan to do them at specific points, because if you get to that point and you want to do it, but the crowd is not really ready for it, you're gonna get crickets, and that's not what you want to happen. You want a response to everything that you do. So I would say definitely spend some time working on the indies. Don't be in a rush to go directly to the big companies. Get some experience into your belt first, and dude, don't let anybody deny your dream, man. Just keep going after it. Like I said, I was told I wasn't going to get to WWE, and I made it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, nobody can ever take that away from me. Did I have a contract? Yes. Did I make it to WrestleMania? Well, I wasn't main eventing WrestleMania. I didn't have my own match, but I made it to WrestleMania 24, and I was with Floyd Mayweather. So I will be immortalized on that screen. I do know that.
Oh, really? You were at WrestleMania 24 with Floyd?
Floyd Mayweather Big Show match. Watch it.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely have to. I didn't know that, so that's pretty cool.
There you go. See, gave you a little nugget there.
Yeah, you did. Well, thank you for the advice, and thank you for taking your time out to do this interview. It's a pleasure to have you on here.
Blake the Snake, man, thank you very much for having me, dude. I'm looking forward to part 2, man. Maybe we'll do it at the beach next time.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you again, and I hope you have a good rest of your night.
You too, man. Thank you very much. All right, take care.
Yep, you too.
All right, bye.
Bye.